Valverde puts it away. Lucas Vasquez. Looking cross-field, changing the point of attack. Otec Sanchez. Yeah, he's fouled him there. Well, he's playing innocent. He has. Oh, he's hit the bar! Cleared away. Oh, that's nice. And goes back. Shot a goal! Real let-off.
Well, Peter, he clearly felt he was being invited to shoot, and it wasn't a...
I think this experience is so brilliant. Now, I know I'm biased. I mean, look at me. However, I love it the minute you walk in, the mood of the whole thing. Yeah, I love the space you've created. I feel like I'm in Scotland. The other thing I love is when you're banished or murdered, the game isn't over. You're still part of it. So it's not like, yeah, bye, thanks for coming, the tube's that way. You are still fully involved. I would say to anybody who's nervous about playing, don't be scared. You don't really get murdered. It's great fun. Those that are nervous about it often do the best. So yeah, it's a great night out. I love it.
Hoists it forward. Good ball, it's found its... goes for it! It's off target and by quite a way.
Well, I think a little eagerness just got the better of him. He may have been thinking about back page headlines there.
Valverde. Vinicius Junior. Forward it goes. Otec Sanchez. And it's played forward. And he's made sure that that won't get through. Clearance and very necessary. Puts it back. Played back in. Lucas Vasquez. Valverde. Tried to play it through.
Was too timid to make it through the defence. It'll be noted and improved upon, I'm sure.
He gets past his man. It's a fine run and he's happy to keep going. There's the delivery. Defending of the desperate variety.
Lovely feet. That's been levered clear. Lucas Vasquez. It's a good run down the right. Where could this lead? Mbappe! Oh, shooting chance! Big relief.
Di Maria. Renato Sanchez.
It's Di Maria.
Lucas Vasquez. Rudiger. Tries to get it forward quickly. He wasn't very far from making something happen by himself. Lovely to see. Out to the left it goes. Vinicius Junior. Mbappe.
Liam Rossini on his touchline really going mad at one of the Chelsea defenders. I think it was Fofana. Chelsea were actually pressing Napoli on the right-hand side of the pitch as Liam Rossini is looking at it. And yeah, he was screaming at Fofana because he wasn't up. He wasn't up with the rest of the team. As you well know, that if you're going to press properly, everybody needs to do it. And he had Fofana and maybe Cucurella up on that far side, not quite doing what the team needed the two. And he was very quick out of his dugout onto the sideline to make them aware of his feelings.
Estebankovic, a follow. Bongiorno, free kick to Napoli. They look to play through the Chelsea press. Nice little movement there by Lobotka. Plays it up towards Rasmus Højlund. Fofana for company, and opportunity now for Vergara to scamper away down the right wing. Andre Santos is the nearest defender to him. Good delivery into the centre. He was looking for Rasmus Højlund, but Reece James wins the sprint and heads it out for a corner. Excellent defending for the Chelsea captain.
Again, those are the moments we're having a little bit of joy whenever they can get down the sides of this Chelsea team. Runners from deep, especially from the wing backs or all the wide players. Cara, Elmas, Spinazzola, Vieira. They can get those with overlap and runs into those wide areas down the side of the penalty area, causing Chelsea problems.
Napoli corner to be taken on the right hand side. It's an in-swinger. Sanchez decided to come. He fumbles it but picks the ball up on the bounce. And a quick early distribution out to Enzo Fernandez. He'll bring possession to Pedro Neto. It is bring possession up over the halfway line on the right hand side for Chelsea, wearing the change kit tonight, all black. Napoli in their traditional sky blue shirts, the white shorts and sky blue socks. Moises Caicedo has possession inside the centre circle. Andre Santos plays a little 1-2 with Enzo Fernandez. Chelsea looking in good control, but there have been glimmers from Napoli looking dangerous on counter-attacks just in recent minutes. Neto here trying to get in around the back of Oliveira. Brilliant from Neto. Chance to scoop it over the goalkeeper. Mere came out. There's an attempted backheel by João Pedro, which goes wide of the target. Pedro Neto nearly created something out of nothing there.
Oh, just for sheer pace. I mean, he must have given Oliveira between 5 and 8 yards head start in that moment. Reece James played a ball over the top, and I didn't think it was on. I didn't think he was going to be able to get there in that moment. Such was the distance he gave up, but blistering pace from Pedro Neto. Effort at goal, hits the keeper flush in the face as it was going goalwards. That's actually a really good save. Make sure Chelsea didn't go 2 up.
It's excellent save from Mere tonight. Pedro Neto there as Rasmus Højlund tries to come forward on the surge down the other end. Plays the ball over to Oliveira on the left-hand side, 10 yards short of the penalty area. Pushes it now towards the edge of the box. Elmas Rolls it back, needs some support here. Buongiorno has come up from defence to offer an outlet. Elmas again, 15 yards from the byline. Left-hand side as Napoli come forward. Delivery comes in from Oliveira. Chelsea have got everyone back in defence. As Di Lorenzo tries to keep it alive here. Oh, he's done really well, Di Lorenzo. Tight angle, tries to shoot it in, comes off the shins of Robert Sanchez, who goes out for another corner. That was brilliant from Di Lorenzo. Don't know if he meant that, but he prodded it forward and was able to run onto his own pass.
Yeah, just desire and commitment. And Chelsea, as a team, just stopped. I think it was Rhys James maybe off Fofana, just stooped a little bit low to head the ball. They thought it should have been a foot up free kick. The referee didn't give it. As you said, Di Lorenzo kept going, and it actually took a really important save this time by the Chelsea goalkeeper to keep the scores as they are.
Manchester City have doubled their lead at home against Galatasaray at the Etihad. City 2, Galatasaray 0. Here comes the Napoli corner from the left-hand side towards the back post. Good leap in that area to hit the ball downwards. It was Oliveira, but comfortably saved in the end by Robert Sanchez. So almost half an hour played. Chelsea doing what they need to do tonight. They are in front. They have scored one goal, which adds to their goal difference advantage. And at the moment, Chelsea are in sixth of the top 8. And at the moment, going straight through to the round of 16. At the moment, Spurs and Newcastle and Barcelona would all have to settle for a place in the playoffs. And for Napoli, well, their Champions League adventure could be under pressure this evening. Napoli, at the moment, would be eliminated. They started the evening in 25th position. Because they're 1-0 down here, they slip back to 28th. And at a bare minimum here, Napoli have got to turn this around and win. And then they've got to hope that the goal difference will be in their favour. 1-0 to Chelsea for the moment. Enzo Fernandez plays the ball forward, out to Estevao on the right-hand side. Running at Oliveira. Gusto provides an outlet in field. It's a delivery to the penalty area, though, looking for a run of Pedro Neto, and the ball ricochets up in the air, and Mere is able to come out and make the save. Napoli 0, Chelsea 1.
Yeah, that was one of the best moves we've seen from Chelsea for a while. They've just been under a bit of pressure in the last 5 minutes or so from Napoli, just as we see a replay of Di Lorenzo chance. It was a tight angle when he eventually got a shot away, one you'd expect Sanchez to save, but up the other end of the pitch, they've been up under a bit of pressure, Chelsea. They do need to just get a bit of possession of the ball inside that Napoli half. That was a good move, but Estevao just tried to force a pass through, maybe a bit of youth, maybe an experience that knowing what the game needed in that moment. Get the ball away again, Chelsea.
30 minutes on the big stadium clock. Chelsea leading in southern Italy. Vergara under pressure to hold on to possession, but he does manage to do so, held off the intentions of Andre Santos there. Napoli, who've only once lost a home Champions League game against an English club. It was when Manchester City won here a long time ago now, 9 years ago. Napoli will be hoping that there is still plenty time to go this evening. Mere has it, the goalkeeper decked out all in red. Away to our right-hand side. They don't pump it long, Napoli. They tend to play little short passes out of the penalty area. Therefore, the likes of João Pedro and Pedro Neto and Estevao are lurking on the edge of that space, hoping that they can force an error, maybe spark an interception. Looked like it was a kick to the head there. Malo Gusto, not intentionally, but he has got Oliveira, and the referee obliged because it's a head injury to bring play to a halt. And again, with this little break in play, Liam Senior calls over the captain, and he's very animatedly giving him instructions here. It's been a good start, but Liam Senior isn't counting any chickens just yet. No, absolutely not. I mean, you just talked about the record Napoli have got here against English teams. They know the difficulty of coming away with the points that Chelsea require. So, yeah, they're going to a good position, a good moment of the game, but there's an awful lot left, an awful lot of instructions he'd like them to follow to make sure they come away with all 3 of these points. Bilbao have doubled their lead against Sporting in the Champions League tonight, and Real Madrid have taken the lead in front away at Benfica. Benfica 0, Real Madrid 1. Kylian Mbappe with the goal after half an hour there. Ajax have gone 1-0 up against Olympiacos. So Real Madrid, as things stand, 3rd in the table. Rasmus Højlund trying to come forward for Napoli here, but Andre Santos tracking back well, makes the interception, and Chelsea clear the ball away. It doesn't go very far, mind you. Vergara picks it up just outside the penalty area.
Darling, my mobile bill's gone up again.
Well, you are on a big mobile network.
But why'd you say it like that?
Because with Labara, I've saved a small fortune. Everyone in the village has switched.
Well, I could switch. I just haven't yet.
Labara, the smarter mobile network.
10!
No, from £5 a month.
pressure on Chelsea in the last 5 or maybe even 10 minutes now. And it's eventually got them this goal back. But this is a wonderful piece of individual skill from Vergara, picking the ball up, running at Chelsea defenders, and as you say, a good bit of skill. But it starts because there may have been a suspicion of Rasmus Højlund being an offside when that first initial ball went forward. I don't know whether they'll check that. But as it goes forward, Chelsea have left themselves stretched. It ends up being Andre Santos that has to chase Rasmus Højlund back. Centre midfielder chasing a centre half back. So spread out at Chelsea defensively, and from that they never really recover. And when Vergara wins the ball back, Chelsea are too spread out. Nobody really centrally, except for Fana, who ends up getting done in a 1v1 situation inside the penalty area. As you say, a good 360 twist, taking the ball with him all the way on that left foot from Vergara, and then you wonder, will he stay on his feet because there was contact, could have been a penalty? Will he be able to finish it? And he did the lot, and it's a really good finish.
Huge moment for Antonio Conte, huge goal for Napoli. Vergara, who did one of those little round-the-world moves, he did it in the opening minute of the game, and I was sort of joking, the stadium was called the Diego Maradona Stadium. I mean, Maradona used to love that move where he would swivel the full 360 degrees on the ball. Vergara there, a real throwback, but it wasn't just flashy for flick, it was very effective in taking him around Fofana, and then a really cool finish after that move too, to just gently roll the ball into the bottom corner. He didn't blast it, he didn't rush the moment. That was a very composed taking of the final touch.
It absolutely was. And also the fact that he stayed on his feet. I think when that contact happened, I expected him to actually go to ground. They've already had a penalty kick against them. Napoli, every chance of that would have been given in their favour, but he didn't. He took the contact from Fofana, used it to help propel him all the way around 360. He's facing the goal again, and once he was there, just hit it hard and low. So close to Sanchez, couldn't really do a thing about it.
Huge moment for Antonio Vergara, his first ever goal for Napoli. He'll do well to score many better than that. Napoli won, Chelsea won, and the implication briefly as the goal went in was bad for Chelsea. It pushed them out of the top 8 down to 9th position. However, goals elsewhere have now moved Chelsea back up to the top 8 once again. So there'll be lots of reassertions and lots of developments as this evening continues. Atletico Madrid, who are now only drawing against Bodo Glimt. So Madrid were ahead of Chelsea briefly there, but because of the equaliser for Bodo Glimt, that pushes Atletico Madrid down to 9th place, and Chelsea are back up to 8th place. Spurs have been able to spring back up into the top 8 as well. They currently lie in 7th. Manchester City leading by 2 goals still against Galatasaray are in 6th. Liverpool are still in 4th. At the moment, it's only Newcastle of the English clubs who are outside of the straight to the round of 16 top 8 for the moment.
Yeah, it's not where they want to be. But there's an awful lot of football left. Yeah, Connor, as we both well know, I'm sure there'll be so many more changes of positions for all the teams, never mind just the English teams we're kind of concentrating on. But Chelsea just a little bit rocked there, just spent the last couple of minutes again under a bit of pressure. João Pedro's won them another good free kick just to get them up the pitch, just to give them an opportunity to string a couple of passes together and really compose himself in the game.
Napoli won, Chelsea in possession midway inside their own half. Andre Santos rolls it back to Robert Sanchez. Sanchez, who's playing in the Champions League for the first time in his career this season. He goes long here, looking for Pedro Neto. Difficult to control under pressure from Vergara. And then that looks to be a foul by Andre Santos, and the referee blows his whistle and gives the free kick to Napoli. This is 10-15 yards inside Chelsea territory. Pedro Neto will claim he didn't do an awful lot wrong there, but it was Andre Santos coming across, then colliding into Vergara, that was the reason the free kick was given.
Well, there's not an awful lot Santos could do either. I think he had to make contact. I think, again, I talk about it, Cucurella had made a run really high and wide from a hybrid left-back position. Neto had lost the ball. Both of them were out of position as Napoli had the opportunity to get down those wing-back areas, get down the sides of that Chelsea defence. It was a good foul, actually, by Santos.
Napoli in possession. They have a Spinazzola over the right-hand side, but well dealt with by a crunching tackle from Cucurella. Spinazzola stays on the deck as Chelsea come away with the ball. Pedro Neto up over the halfway line. Cucurella in support of him. Infield now to Enzo Fernandez. Spinazzola's back up on his feet as Caicedo rolls it short to Reece James. Chelsea have seen most of the ball, have had the lead tonight in southern Italy, but a quite wonderful individual goal from Antonio Vergara has the Italian club back level at 1-1 for now. Neto in possession, 20 yards outside the penalty area, the Chelsea attack. He's on the left-hand side of the field as the visitors come forward. Cucurella into Enzo Fernandez. 10 players behind the ball for Napoli. Neto gets possession again on the left-hand side here. He's pointing where he wants a teammate to run, but then he doesn't like the run that's made, so he holds onto the ball for a moment. Back to Enzo Fernandez, back to Pedro Neto once again. The whistles and the jeers from the Napoli fans. And there are 7 minutes of normal time to play until the break in the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium in Naples. Ball given away by Malo Gusto to Elif Elmas. Napoli have it, but they're right on the edge of their own penalty area. Buongiorno back to Alex Meret, and sensibly he decides not to continue the short passing routine out of the box. He clears it high up towards the halfway line. McTominay stretches, tries to control. He's got support from Vergara. Back to McTominay again. Good, powerful, surging run this by Scott McTominay, and he's got support too. Spinazzola's available on the right-hand side. Højlund waiting patiently inside the penalty area, hoping that this comes his way. Low ball in. McTominay, clever little layoff. Vergara's shot is away off target. This is much better from Napoli now. They've taken a while to get going, but they look like the reigning Italian champions at the moment.
Yeah, and every time they pick the ball up, there are spaces to run into. There are opportunities to play forward passes. There are good lines to find teammates ahead of the ball. Scott McTominay is starting to become a much bigger influence on the game. Just finding those spaces, driving forward, getting much closer to Rasmus Højlund at the top of the pitch. But Chelsea, on the other hand, keeping the ball okay at times, getting to the edge of Napoli's penalty area, but with no real intent. They're moving it backwards and forwards, and I mean, on the last, I think, 2 occasions, Malo Gusto's given the ball away really cheaply. They're not deciding to really go cutthroat, Chelsea, but they're also not keeping it well enough, so yeah, it's no surprise Napoli are on top at the moment.
5 minutes plus the stoppages to go until the break. 1-1 between Napoli and Chelsea. Benfica have got an equaliser at home against Real Madrid. Benfica 1, Real Madrid 1, and Arsenal have got their 3rd goal of the night at the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Kairat Almaty 1. Arsenal, who were guaranteed of going through anyway. Only they and Bayern Munich knew for sure they were into the last 16 at the start of tonight, but they do want that 100% record, and it looks like for the moment Mikel Arteta's team are going to get it. Arsenal 3, Kairat Almaty 1. So in the top 8 positions, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Liverpool have moved up to 3rd because Real Madrid conceded that equaliser. Paris Saint-Germain, who are ahead of Newcastle. Madrid are in 5th place, Manchester City up in 6th, and then it's Spurs and Chelsea in 7th and 8th. So as things stand, Liam Rosenior's team are going to achieve their objective tonight and go through to the last 16, even if this was to finish at a 1-1 draw. But that is as things are at the moment, and goals elsewhere can very quickly change that and push Chelsea out of the top 8. So it's a perilous position at the moment as Oliveira has possession for Napoli. 4.5 minutes to go until the break. Di Lorenzo rolls the ball into the midfield to Lobotka. Back behind him is Scott McTominay. McTominay's looked dangerous the handful of occasions that he has run forward tonight, but most of his work is being done in the engine room of the midfield. Here is Buongiorno.
He's spoken, hasn't he? He's been asked to play a lot deeper this year. Scott McTominay with injuries and things, so it's happened.
Does your loo roll make you feel good? Who Gives a Crap donates 50% of their profits. So add some woo to your loo with feel-good toilet paper. Who Gives a Crap?
With his runs, better timing with his runs, but since he started to become an influence on this game, Napoli have looked a lot better.
Napoli 1, Chelsea 1. If you're just joining us over on 5 Live, Manchester City are comfortably... Newcastle are trailing at Paris Saint-Germain on 5 Live Sports Extra. Manchester City are comfortable ahead against Galatasaray. Here's Lobotka coming forward for Napoli. Good work by Malo Gusto to stay goal side of him, but Napoli hold on to possession. McTominay onto Vergara, who's been really impressive. Spinazzola sends it across on the right-hand side. Caicedo's first touch was weak, but then he gets a second touch, and he's relieved that he does. There was a little hesitation from Caicedo. I think he thought that Fofana was going to clear it away instead, but it came off him, and it could have fallen to a Napoli player. This is Elmas. The Italian reigning champions are on the attack here still. Low ball in Oliveira, and it's played in by Rasmus Højlund, and Napoli United as Napoli turn it around. They were 1-0 down. They now lead. Napoli 2, Chelsea 1, and this is now a problem for Liam Rosenior.
Yeah, another well-worked goal from Napoli. Wonderful finish. Rasmus Højlund as the ball came across to him. And this time they get down the left-hand side. Napoli, and again Chelsea just finding themselves stretched. I'm just seeing Moses Caicedo barking orders at his teammates, trying to figure out the spaces and who should be covering which distances. There's no doubt that the way they're set up at the moment with this semi-back four, back five, not quite sure what they're doing exactly. It's just not working. As the half's grown on, Napoli have started to find the spaces and the opportunities down the sides of it. And as that ball comes across, as that ball gets played down the side, it's Caicedo out in the full-back area trying to stop the cross. Reece James nowhere near stopping the ball going in. Fofana 1v1 with Højlund, who just gets ahead of him. Sharper, quicker, brighter, and it's a good finish inside the frame of the goal. Reece James nowhere near helping his centre-half partner out, and as I say, Napoli are really taking advantage of the holes as the half's worn on.
Brilliant movement from Rasmus Højlund to get in front of Fofana. Smart finish too for the player who found goals so hard to come by over the course of his Manchester United career. And United are still his parent club, but that goal moves him ahead of Scott McTominay, and Rasmus Højlund is now Napoli's top goal scorer this season in all competitions. Napoli 2, Chelsea 1. An evening that started so well for Chelsea has become much more of a battle now as Enzo Fernandez puts it in front of Neto. Great pace from Neto again, scorching ahead of Di Lorenzo. Little stumble from Neto, but he holds his composure here. Right foot across, just too high for João Pedro. What a brilliant delivery from Pedro Neto. And if it was either an inch or two shorter, or if João Pedro was an inch or two taller, that would surely have been 2-2.
Yeah, just couldn't quite find the inches, could he, to get over the top of that cross as it came in. João Pedro just managed to keep it underneath the goal frame. But Chelsea just show again there, when they're bright, when they're positive, when they play a forward pass, when they make a forward run followed by a forward pass, they can make opportunities against this Napoli team. I think far too often in this first half, especially when they were ahead, they were just happy just to keep the ball without really going anywhere with it.
Well, Chelsea will be disappointed to have lost their lead and now trail, but you have to say this format is delivering us a very exciting game here, Leo, because both teams still attack. I mean, Napoli can't rest on their laurels. Yes, they've got the lead, but they need goal difference. They've got to go and score more. Chelsea now at the moment realise that they'd be dropping down to 12th in the table. They've got to attack, so it's going to be helter-skelter. It really does make it a very entertaining prospect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're in the old format, you're coming up in a group stage, you know which teams are in your group, 4 teams, you know roughly where you are at this point. Obviously, when you're given who you're playing, the fixtures list at the start of the Champions League season, you never quite know who's going to be where come the end, but because of how many teams still have to compete for different parts, whether that as we said, the automatic or just qualification in general, there's so much to play for, and we've seen that from this Napoli team as they try and progress.
One of Antonio Conte's assistants has been shown a yellow card there, as I think it's not Christian Stellini. Do you remember Christian Stellini, who was his assistant at Spurs and who actually took over the team for a brief period when Conte was sacked? It wasn't him. One of his other coaches has been shown a yellow card down there. So 3 minutes being added on for stoppages at the end of the first half. 3 goals already in the game. Chelsea scoring first, a penalty from Enzo Fernandez, but Napoli have been able to respond, and they now lead. Vergara and Højlund making it Napoli 2, Chelsea 1, as Elmas comes on the attack, tries to take the ball on for Napoli, shows too much of the ball to Malo Gusto, who wallops it away downfield. Anywhere will do, as he launches it all the way back to Alex Mere, away to our right-hand side. So, Chelsea, who started the evening in 8th position, currently in 12th. They've got Inter, Newcastle, Atalanta all ahead of them, and all those teams still outside the much-coveted top 8 positions. We knew it was going to fluctuate a lot tonight. Chelsea hope that there's still a few more pendulum swings to come here. Elmas battles hard in the midfield, does well, but he's outfoxed by a hungry João Pedro. Now Estevao tries to scurry away down the right-hand side, but his ball back in field towards João Pedro was weak. It's intercepted by Bianchiano. He gets the decision from the referee there, and Napoli are just beginning to win more and more of those little 50-50 battles right now.
Yeah, so many players around the ball. I mean, Chelsea actually came out on top initially. and doing so never really did anything with the ball. Esteban, instead of turning away, running forward, turned back into trouble, tried to make a silly pass, gave the ball away, and suddenly Chelsea trying to scramble for it again. It's been that kind of half opportunity to turn and go one way. Chelsea have turned their way back into trouble, I feel, in this first half, and I think I'll be quite pleased when the referee blows the half-time whistle.
Mentioned earlier Napoli's strong home record against English clubs. Well, regardless of the country that the opposition has come from, Napoli unbeaten in the last 20 home games here at this stadium in the Champions League. The last team to win here was Real Madrid. That was 2 seasons ago. They have done very well not to be overawed by the strong start Chelsea made here. Dominating possession, scoring the early goal. Napoli have trusted the process, and despite the lengthy injury list for Antonio Conte at the moment, they've got to be extremely satisfied in how they've turned this around to lead. There's the whistle for the break. What an entertaining 45 minutes that was. Chelsea will have to step up a gear if they're to avoid the playoffs. Remember, it is playoffs at worst for Chelsea. They're not going to get eliminated from Europe tonight. But what looked to be such a dominant start, Enzo Fernandez penalty after Juan Jesus' handball. However, Vergara's bit of magic, Rasmus Højlund with some real neat finishing, and I'm sure there'll be a little wry smile on the faces of Manchester United fans hearing that Højlund scores tonight, Leon. I mean, he didn't get much service in his Manchester United career. He's only had one proper chance tonight. Boy, did he take it well.
Yeah, but he's led the line quite well. I think he's enjoyed the challenge. He's only ever really been up against one Chelsea centre-half at any point. He's never really been passed on or ran between the two. So whenever he's made his runs, he's known he's only got the man marking him to beat. He can run into space. As soon as he creates that opportunity, he's running into space if someone puts the ball in. That's exactly what happened for his goal, and that's why Napoli lead.
Okay, it is 1-1 in southern Italy. Chelsea with work to do in the second half. Come back to us for that. But big news in Paris. Paris Saint-Germain, who are leading Newcastle United by 1-0. Newcastle have equalised just ahead of half-time. PSG 1, Newcastle 1. So they'll be talking about that over on 5 Live. Let's join them now. Here's Mark Chapman and the team.
8th in the as it stands table, and in fact that equalised for Newcastle, drops Paris Saint-Germain down to 7th. What's helping Newcastle at the moment as they try and stay in the top 8 is that Atletico Madrid are being held at home by Bodo Glimt. So Atletico Madrid just missing out on the top 8 as things stand. Manchester City, as things stand, 5th in the table. They've had a very comfortable first half at the Etihad. Ian Dennis.
Yes, they have. They lead 2-0 against Galatasaray, so they are on course, not just because they're leading, but remember they need results to go their way as well in at least 4 of the other games, and currently 5 are going in their favour elsewhere. Haaland put them ahead after 10 minutes.
We're about to layer up the first lasagna. I'm going to add in a couple of tablespoons of my organised powder, a whole food beef organ blend, so it's all of the unusual cuts, blitz down into a powder. I like to add a spoonful of this into my smoothies if I'm doing like a chocolatey date and cacao smoothie. It's so full of goodness. It's also going to add a really nice kind of richness to my ragu.
For a top 8 finish, 2-0 they lead at the break.
And Benfica have turned things round at home to Real Madrid. John Bennett.
Yes, Pavlidis has just scored a penalty. Benfica 2, Real Madrid 1. Benfica deserve it. They have been excellent. So Real Madrid at the moment still in the top 8. They're 5th, but it's getting nervy for them. Benfica still outside the playoff places. Benfica 2, Real Madrid 1.
Thank you very much. Speaking of turning things around, Napoli have done exactly the same thing at home to Chelsea. So this at the moment knocks Chelsea out of the top 8 and gets Napoli into the top 24. Chris Coles.
Indeed, Napoli 2, Chelsea 1. This game being played at frenetic pace. Napoli doing most of the attacking and have a merited lead. Chelsea had struck first. Enzo Fernandez penalty given for handball from a free kick. Great penalty as well, low into the corner. But Napoli responded. Antonio Vergara's fine turn in the box. He finished low into the corner, and then Rasmus Højlund in good goal-scoring form on the end of a low ball into the front post. He finished it off the frame of the goal, but on the stroke of half-time, João Pedro missed a glorious chance to equalise, heading over a terrific cross from the left. But as you say, Mark, with this score, Chelsea are finishing outside the top 8. Napoli 2, Chelsea 1.
There are a lot of things at the moment that are going Spurs' way. Sporting are losing. Barcelona are losing. We'll get details of those two games in a little while. Spurs themselves goalless at the moment in Frankfurt. John Akers.
lots going for them away from this game, not a lot going for them in this match in particular. They've hit the post. Otec with a shot from the edge of the D with his left foot, hit the inside of the post, low, brilliant effort from him. So that was a bit unlucky. And then Jabi Simons had a goal ruled out by the VAR for an offside in the build-up. So they've had their share of misfortune, Spurs, in this one, but right towards the end of the half, Frankfurt had a chance of their own. Hugo Larsson hit the crossbar on a breakaway. So half-time, no goals. Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Spurs 0, but they're 6th in the table as it stands.
Real Madrid going behind to Benfica in that game, and it is 2-1 at half-time there, has a positive effect for Manchester City because it puts City into the top 4. Remember, if you finish in the top 2, you get the home leg second all the way to the semi-finals. Finish 3rd or 4th, you get the home leg second all the way to the quarter-finals. So that's a big goal that Benfica has scored when it comes to City, who are 4th. Liverpool comfortably in 3rd and comfortably ahead on the night. Lee Blakeman.
Routine so far for Liverpool, leading Qarabag 2-0. McAllister got the first 15 minutes in, just about forcing a Szoboszlai corner over the line. Wirtz made it 2 from the edge of the area 6 minutes later. Tidy finish from him. Ekatike's put one just wide. Robertson's put one just over. Gakpo and Szoboszlai have gone close as well. In fact, the only thing that's gone wrong for Liverpool is Frimpong went off 2 minutes in with what looked like a groin problem. Liverpool on their way to the win that they need to be sure. Liverpool 2, Qarabag 0.
Arsenal are going to finish the group stage with a 100% record. John Southall.
They are. They lead Qarabag by 3 goals to one entertaining half. Arsenal 1 up after 2 minutes. Good Gyökeres finish. That lasted 5 minutes. A Calafiore foul and Jorginho equalised from the penalty spot. The second, Kai Havertz's first start in almost a year, curled a shot into the bottom left corner. It's been good in this first half, Havertz. Gyökeres could have scored a hat-trick. 1 miss from 3 yards out. He will not want to see again. Martinelli tapped in the third, and surely, as you say, top spot is secured, and they are heading for 8 wins from 8. Arsenal 3, Qarabag 1.
So Arsenal will be finishing first, Bayern second as things stand. Liverpool and Manchester City 3rd and 4th. Real Madrid are 5th, Spurs 6th, Paris Saint-Germain and Newcastle complete the top 8. Let's focus on the sides currently making a right mess of it this evening. Starting with Barcelona, Maz Farouki.
They really are. Big 45 minutes ahead for them. They need more than the draw to make the top 8 as it stands, and they trail at home by 1-0 to Copenhagen. The 2 players of the match so far, the 17-year-old up front for the Danish side, Victor Tharfason, who swept in a lovely through ball for the goal early on, and then Dominik Kotarski in the Copenhagen goal has pulled off several impressive saves as Barcelona have peppered his area. The best of the Barca chances, though, a shot from the D from Eric Garcia, which had the keeper beaten, and that ricocheted off the crossbar to safety. Half-time, Barcelona 0, Copenhagen 1.
John Bennett trying to be across everything else. And when we're looking at those sides trying to get into the top 8, Sporting, Inter and Atalanta all not really taking advantage of what's going on ahead of them.
Yeah, and Atletico Madrid as well, being frustrated as well against Bodo Glimt. They took the lead, looked as though they were coasting, but at the moment they're being frustrated. They're in 9th. I think the big losers so far, though, Mark, are Marseille in terms of the race for the playoffs. So they've dropped out of the playoffs. They're 2-0 down against Club Brugge, who've moved up to 22nd. By Leverkusen, one of the big winners so far, 2-0 up against Villarreal. They've moved to 17th, securing their playoff place at the moment. Athletic Club 2, Sporting 1, so Athletic Club securing their playoff place, but Sporting dropping out of the race for the top 8. But at the moment, Marseille look as though they'll be the big losers of the night.
Let me give you all the scores then. I was going to maybe try and give you the ones that you hadn't heard, but I can't remember what you've heard or what you haven't. So here are them all. Ajax 0, Olympiacos 0, Arsenal 3, Qarabag 1, Athletic Club 2, Sporting 1, Atletico Madrid 1, Bodo Glimt 1, Barcelona 0, Copenhagen 1, Bayer Leverkusen 2, Villarreal 0, Benfica 2, Real Madrid 1, Borussia Dortmund 0, Inter 0, Club Brugge 2, Marseille 0, Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Spurs 0, Liverpool 2, Qarabag 0, Manchester City 2, Galatasaray 0, goalless between Monaco and Juventus. Napoli lead Chelsea 2-1, PSV and Bayern are goalless, Paphos 1, Slavia Prague 1, Paris Saint-Germain 1, Newcastle 1, Union Saint-Gilloise 0, Atalanta 0. Michael Brown at the Etihad, it's going perfectly for Manchester City, not only on the pitch, but out of all the teams that started the day on 13 points, they're the only ones that are winning at the moment.
Long way to go, chappers. We're just having a little look at it. Yes, it's looking good, but do you know, they started Galatasaray putting City under pressure, and then Haaland missed that opportunity with his header into the far corner, and you thought, is it going to be one of those days? The manager questioned him, and then Doku, who was wonderful, 2 assists. He's got off with a slight hamstring, and it doesn't look good, to be honest, but a great ball into him. Haaland, great finish. Ryan Cherky in the middle of the pitch. He's showboated, actually. He got told off from the manager for losing the ball, and then a minute later, straight away, he reacts, puts it in the corner, and it all smiles. So, yes, going well, but City are fragile defensively, we know. So, as I would say, a long way to go.
To Leon Osman, who's been watching Napoli against Chelsea, and on the balance of play, you'd say that scoreline is fair, wouldn't you, at the break? 2-1 to the Italians?
Yeah, it would. I think Chelsea started well, deservedly got the lead, albeit from a penalty kick, from a handball. But I just thought they were going to kick on from there, and I thought they'd start showing that early dominance in the rest of the game, and they seemed to take a backward step. Napoli started to figure out how Chelsea have set up defensively. We talked about James playing centre-half. He's kind of been a centre-half, he's kind of been a right-back. The kind of times Andre Santos has dropped in to play centre-half, and it took Napoli about 25 minutes to figure out where to run, and now they've started to pick holes in that Chelsea defensive setup. They're running the channels really well. Most of the times that Chelsea attack, they're coming up against quite a stubborn low block, as we call it nowadays. But whenever Napoli attack, everything seems to be a race. Everybody seems to be running back to that Chelsea goal, and it's quite exciting for Napoli, but far too many opportunities given away by Chelsea.
Thank you very much, Leon. Second halves on the way. We'll be back in Paris, where it's Paris Saint-Germain 1, Newcastle 1 at the break. It's exactly 9 o'clock on 5 Live. Richard Foster has the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. Good evening. President Trump is threatening
In Cyprus, adventure is never far. A place where the world slows down and wonder begins. All just a short ride away. Cyprus. Short distances, endless journeys.
Iran's rulers, and it could spread out across the region. That is not the kind of thing he wants to get involved in.
2 federal agents involved in the fatal shooting of Alex Pretty in Minneapolis have been placed on leave. He was a US citizen and was shot and killed on Saturday. The Prime Minister's convinced his trip to China will bring benefits to the UK. He's meeting President Xi tomorrow as part of a 3-day visit. Critics have raised concerns about the country's human rights record. Luke de Pulford is from the Inter-Parliamentary Alliance on China. He told 5 Live the government shouldn't give in to Beijing's demands.
We can't get off on the wrong foot here, making concessions in order to go to China in the way that the Prime Minister has. I think that's the issue. Beijing is treating us like they do other middle powers. You must make concessions in order to come. And if you want economic preferment, then you're going to have to dance to our tune. And I think that's what's going on here, I'm afraid.
A former singer who starred in the Queen-themed musical We Will Rock You has been found guilty of rape and attempted rape. Ross Davidson, who's from North London, was also known for singing with Spandau Ballet in 2018. He'll be sentenced at a later date. The prime suspect in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann has accepted an offer of a council home in northern Germany. Christian Bruckner had been living in a tent in a forest after being unable to find accommodation since leaving prison last year. And an investigation's underway after a wheel fell off a British Airways plane just after it had taken off from Las Vegas airport. The wheel can be seen falling to the ground in a video on the BBC News website. The Airbus A350 landed safely in London 9 hours later.
Missed a massive moment?
Want to hear that last-minute goal again?
If you're listening on most smart speakers, we've got you covered.
Just say, ask BBC Sounds to rewind 5 minutes.
And relive it all over again.
What a goal! Remind us of that magic phrase again.
Ask BBC Sounds to rewind 5 minutes. This is 5 Live Sports, the Champions League with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
45 minutes to go then in the league stage of the Champions League this season, and as it stands, all English sides bar Chelsea are in that top 8. Dan Burn, on the monitor that I'm seeing, Chris Sutton, is still talking to the referee about the penalty that they didn't get.
Yeah, I find it remarkable because if they give the penalty at one end for an arm out from the body, it was exactly the same scenario.
Conversation with Mark Chapman and Chris Sutton will continue over on 5 Live here on BBC Radio Sports Extra 2. We are back focusing our minds on events in Naples at half-time at the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium. It is Napoli 2, Chelsea 1. The team's re-emerging for the start of the second half. As Mark referenced there, Chelsea, the only English club who've dropped out of the top 8 for now. So there is much work to do for Liam Rossignor's team. They started well tonight, Chelsea, but Napoli reminding us of what an accomplished outfit they are. Vergara making it 1-1 after 33 minutes, and 10 minutes after that, Rasmus Højlund was in to score and to put Napoli in front. Chelsea need something special, so they're bringing on the boy wonder. Cole Palmer replaces Pedro Neto at half-time, Leon.
Yeah, I don't think I'm surprised to see Cole Palmer's introduction. I think Chelsea needs someone with a bit more guile and craft when they get to the edge of that Napoli penalty area, as we discussed at the end of the first half. They're getting there quite easily, and they're not really having enough impetus or enough sort of cutting edge when they get there. So no surprise to see his introduction. Maybe a little surprised that Pedro Neto is the one to leave the field. His pace has actually caused Napoli a few problems at times, yeah, but I think change was needed.
Yeah, absolutely. As play gets back underway, no changes for Napoli over the break. We'll give you a reminder of the teams in full in just a moment. Spurs have started the second half in a perfect fashion. They've gone 1-0 up away at Eintracht Frankfurt. Randall Colomowani has scored for Thomas Frank's team. Frankfurt 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1. And Spurs again looking healthy in the Champions League. That would move Spurs up to 4th place of Europeans elite, and when you put that in the context of the Premier League campaign they're having, it really is a Jekyll and Hyde performance for Tottenham Hotspur, depending on which competition you're watching their progress this season. Chelsea in 12th place have work to do. Cole Palmer on. Palmer, who missed the win over Crystal Palace in the Premier League on Sunday due to a thigh injury. It may well be that he's not 100% fit, but Chelsea have to try and gamble here now because they are risking having to go through the playoffs and having an extra 2 games in February that certainly they don't want with an already congested fixture list. Enzo Fernandez goes down, fouled by Giovanni Di Lorenzo, and that is going to be a free kick to Chelsea, taken quickly by Cucurella. So the teams: Alex Mere in goal for Napoli, 3 central defenders. Giovanni Di Lorenzo's the captain. Beside him, Alessandro Buongiorno and Juan Jesus. Juan Jesus, who gave away the penalty and was shown a yellow card for that in the first half. Leonardo Spinazzola is the right wing back. Matheus Oliveira is on the left-hand side. In the middle of the midfield, it's Stanislav Lobotka alongside Scott McTominay. And then Antonio Vergara, who scored the first of Napoli's goals tonight, alongside Elif Elmas in attacking midfield positions. And then the centre-forward, Rasmus Højlund, who has scored his 3rd Champions League goal of the campaign. He's 10th in all competitions this season, and he's the player who has scored the goal that has Napoli in front here. Chelsea's team, Robert Sanchez is the goalkeeper. They started with the same team that played in the Premier League on the weekend against Palace, apart from the 2 central defenders. The back four is Malo Gusto, Reece James and Wesley Fofana playing in those central locations. Cucurella on the left-hand side, Caicedo, Santos, Enzo Fernandez in the midfield, with Estevao wide right. Palmer's now come on, and João Pedro, the striker, through the middle as Chelsea come forward. João Pedro gives it back to Cole Palmer. A little clip on his ankle as he tried to turn there by Elmas. Palmer holds on to possession, rolls it infield to Andre Santos. It's taken off him by Enzo Fernandez. This is midway inside Napoli territory. Whistles and jeers again from the Napoli supporters as Chelsea have possession. Palmer, 15 yards outside the penalty area, slightly right of centre, plays it into a more central location. Andre Santos onto the left-hand side to Cucurella. Antonio Conte dancing along the touchline down below as he tries to order his defenders into the right position. Palmer tries a shot from way outside the penalty area, strikes a defender and comes back to him again. Cole Palmer, just outside the Napoli box, gives a poor pass back behind to Reece James. Chelsea will hold on to possession, but now they've got to retreat, and then one mistake leads to another. Fofana's given it away to the dangerous Vergara. He tries to play it infield to Rasmus Højlund, and Fofana's been able to make a good recovery, but Chelsea nearly shooting themselves in the foot there.
Yeah, again, Chelsea, as you said, causing their own problems. Good possession of the ball. No surprise to see every time there's an opportunity to play a forward pass, Cole Palmer is trying to play it, trying to get him in possession of the ball, but other people around it was Fofana on this occasion, just guilty of being sloppy in possession. Then it's a race towards Chelsea's own goal. On that occasion, he's fortunate that it's a poor pass that ricocheted onto him. He didn't really win the ball back. It was given back to him, and panic over. Chelsea go again.
Here comes João Pedro, rides a couple of tackles, tries to come infield. Oh, he's done really well against Juan Jesus there. Bit of swagger about João Pedro. He then tries to swing a ball over to Malo Gusto on the right-hand side, but that's been intercepted by Mateus Oliveira, and then the whistle blows and the ball had gone out of play. And everything comes to a halt as Liam Rosenior makes a few notes in his notebook. The ball had gone out of play just before Oliveira brought it back in again. That will have been by fractions of millimetres. That was very, very close. But this nature of events with 18 games being played simultaneously has led to a very exciting evening in the Champions League. At the moment, it's not going Chelsea's way, though, and they still trail here by 2-1.
Yeah, I think the main tactical change that's happened at half-time is Esteval's moved from the right-hand side to the left, where Pedro Neto was playing. Cole Palmer's come on, sort of on the right-hand side, but certainly not as wide as Esteval was operating there in the first half. When they get possession of the ball, he's coming central, but you know, Chelsea keeping the ball just as they did in the first half. Cole Palmer in possession, looking for it, but João Pedro is so isolated. Chelsea have so many players behind the ball. When Palmer gets on it, they need people ahead of him. They need people making runs around João Pedro.
Free trades, free ISA. No commissions, no ISA account fees. Invest in over 6,000 stocks and ETFs. Save on tax with an award-winning ISA platform. Free trade, where more of your money stays invested. Capital at risk. ISA rules and other charges may apply. Always do your own research. Tax treatment depends on personal circumstances and current rules may change.
And he beat Chelsea in that most recent meeting. And for the moment, Conte's Napoli leading Chelsea by 2-1 with 50 minutes now on the clock. 5 minutes having elapsed of this second half already. Oliveira, who set up the assist for the Vergara goal, tries to keep the ball in play, but it's gone out. And that's going to be a throw into Chelsea right-hand side of the pitch for them. Caicedo gives it back to Reece James. This is Wesley Fofana. Sucks low down along the back of his calves. Infield to Andre Santos. Slightly soft pass to Enzo Fernandez. He's got to react quickly to get there first. Chelsea have got to scamper backwards. Sanchez, the goalkeeper, gives it to Fofana once again, and here's Reece James on the right-hand side. Short pass infield to Caicedo. Napoli working hard out of possession, making it difficult for Chelsea to play their way out of their final third. Reece James over to the right wing. Malo Gusto now over the halfway line come Chelsea. João Pedro tries to return it to Malo Gusto. Cole Palmer will pick up possession just inside his own half, rolls it infield again to Fofana. Napoli have got the lead on a night where they need to win to have a chance of getting into the knockout phases which Chelsea are hoping to avoid themselves. But for Napoli, as things stand at the moment, it's good enough for them. They would be moving up into the unseeded positions of the knockout phases. They'd be up to 19th position. Anywhere between 17 and 24 gives you an unseeded place in the knockout phase. So that is the requirement, best they could hope for tonight, Napoli. So it's going their way so far. And Chelsea, who've fluctuated between being inside the top 8 and out of it a couple of times now, hoping that they'll get a chance to bounce back up into those automatic positions once again, as Andre Santos' pass goes all the way back to the goalkeeper Robert Sanchez, wearing bright yellow away to our right-hand side. Chelsea playing from right to left in this second half as we look down, wearing their change kit all black tonight for the Premier League team. The captain, Reece James, who was involved in the winning of the penalty in the first half. It was a Reece James free kick that led to the handball by Juan Jesus. Chelsea here, a lot of possession, Leon, but it's all inside their own final third at the moment.
Yeah, nice movement, moving it round really well. Good sort of passages of play. Not really going anywhere at the moment, but you have to remember that Napoli are ahead. As it stands, they've got the result that they want. They won't really feel they have to come out and charge around as much as they did in that first half to get them ahead when they were really pressurising Chelsea. The onus is now on Chelsea to just speed the tempo up, get forward a bit quicker, not necessarily pass for passing's sake, take opportunities to play forward when they come. I just still think at the moment they're just being quite passive, Chelsea.
Buongiorno comes over the halfway line. Oh, that's nicely worked as he plays a 1-2, and the big burly central defender's in a crossing position left-hand side. Plays it into Rasmus Højlund. First time layoff to Oliveira. Back to Højlund again. Lobotka now gets involved. There is a newfound confidence about Napoli since they've taken the lead in this game. They're taking chances, and more often than not, the little manoeuvres that they are attempting are coming off. Little Lobotka has it again, the Slovakian. Gives it to his left-hand side. Little drag back by Buongiorno. He's got Scott McTominay available behind him. Scott McTominay plays a very simple pass back to Juan Jesus, and Napoli just frustrating Chelsea a little bit at the moment, holding on to possession before it's played back by Di Lorenzo all the way back to Alex Mere once again. Antonio Conte hasn't made any changes. He doesn't have many options on the bench. Miguel Gutierrez, the Spanish defender, and Romelu Lukaku and Sam Bukeme, a Dutchman. They're his only senior players. Otherwise, it's very much untested kids and teenagers on the bench. Højlund holds it up. I'm sure we'll see Lukaku at some stage tonight, but he probably won't want to bring him on too early. A player who only made his comeback from injury at the weekend. Hadn't played all season, Romelu Lukaku, since being injured in pre-season back in July. This is Juan Jesus at the back for Napoli. Rolls it to Di Lorenzo on the right-hand side. Chelsea trailing 2-1 on BBC Radio's Sports Extra 2. As Højlund fails to hold it up this time, and the ball goes out for a Chelsea throw. Leon Osman.
Yeah, there's 54 minutes gone. Plenty left in this game for Chelsea to get certainly back into it, maybe even get ahead. That's what they're really desperate for. But they just need to make sure that they don't let this game drift too far, certainly for time, but also being passive, allowing Napoli to have good spells of possession. When Napoli are actually looking to play forward a lot into Rasmus Højlund's feet and follow the pass as well. You just sound and feel more excited when Napoli get the ball at the moment. Chelsea just need to make sure that the game doesn't get away from in the next 15-20 minutes or so.
In terms of the English clubs at the moment, Chelsea trailing 2-1. Arsenal still 3-1 in front at home in the Champions League tonight. Liverpool 3-0 in front against Qarabağ. Manchester City 2-0 in front against Galatasaray. And Newcastle, who trailed in Paris 1-1 as they were at half-time against Champions League holders Paris Saint-Germain. But goals coming in from elsewhere. It's Mo Salah, by the way, who got the third goal for Liverpool at Anfield. That'll be a big moment for him. Pafos have got the lead at home against Slavia Prague. Pafos 2, Slavia Prague 1, and Olympiacos have taken the lead against Ajax. Ajax who did score a goal earlier, but it was disallowed. It is Ajax 0, Olympiacos 1. The top 8 in the table. Arsenal and Bayern Munich were already going through. Liverpool in third place, Spurs 4th, Manchester City 5th. Then it's Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain and Newcastle. Newcastle at the moment occupying the final 8th automatic qualifying position. Below them, Barcelona, who have got back on level terms against Copenhagen. As Barcelona 1, Copenhagen 1. At the moment, that wouldn't be enough to put the Catalans into the automatic qualifying places, but they're right up on the coattails of it. Barcelona in 9th, behind them Atletico Madrid, then Atlanta, then Inter, and then Chelsea. Chelsea down in 13th place at the moment as João Pedro tries to come forward. Spinazzola nips in and makes the interception, and then calmly rolled back by Oliveira to the goalkeeper Mere. And Napoli are making it as difficult as they can at the moment for Chelsea, with 12 minutes played in the second half. Long ball played forward towards Rasmus Højlund. Vergara tries to nip in, but it's played by Fofana back to the goalkeeper Robert Sanchez. Still Napoli 2, Chelsea 1.
Yeah, when Chelsea have the ball, Napoli are making it difficult to play through. They're not pressurising as much as they did in the first half, but they're trying to make those passing lanes non-existent really for Chelsea. So when they eventually do show that patience that they have and play forward, lovely ball into the feet of João Pedro. You can't be sloppy in those moments. He tried to run forward, he sort of tripped over the ball, gave it away. You just feel that 3 or 4 minutes that they've spent trying to create that moment was just wasted by a little bit of lack of concentration, a little bit of sloppiness. When they're behind at this stage, that's when they have to be a bit more assertive and assured when those chances come.
Napoli 2, Chelsea 1. Free kick to the home side for the forward Antonio Vergara. This is his 11th appearance in all competitions this season. Vergara, he's far from a regular, but he's proven to be a very important asset for Antonio Conte tonight in this sort of a game, which is end-to-end, which is flowing. He's just a little bit different. He offers a skill set which is something of a throwback. Actually feels like a player from a different age, does Vergara. Did brilliantly to score his goal in the first half as Napoli come forward, attacking down the left-hand side. Højlund waiting patiently in the centre. Malo Gusto's doing his best here to hold up Elmas. No room for Elmas to cross there. McTominay with the yellow boots gets involved with a touch, gives it back to Elmas again, hugging the touchline on the left-hand side for Napoli. Back into the midfield once more for Scott McTominay, and he'll roll it back into the centre circle to Juan Jesus. Chelsea are getting ready to make a change. Jamie Gittins is stripped and ready to come on. Napoli have possession. Good idea for a pass from Vergara, but it's just too far in front of Elmas. On the groans on the crowd as it goes out for a Chelsea free kick. So Lee Rossini's going to make a double change. Gittins is going to come on, and Trevoh Chalobah too. So Gittins and Chalobah on for Chelsea, who need ideally 2 goals here. A draw would not be enough at the moment. Napoli 2, Chelsea 1, as Andre Santos is the first to makes way, and Malo Gusto will be the other one. So Gusto and Santos off, and it is Gittins and Chalobah who come on for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think that would make you feel Chelsea are going to go back to quite an expected back four in that moment. Chalobah goes centrally alongside Fofana. Reece James go back into that right back area. Gittins will obviously give a little bit more width than they've seen in the first 58. Well, certainly since the start of the second half, Chelsea have been quite narrow.
With holidaycottages.co.uk, you're bound to find your perfect holiday cottage. The only thing is, you won't want to go home. Stays you won't want to leave. holidaycottages.co.uk. Download our app to find your perfect stay.
From the home crowd, he's a bit upset with himself there, Roman Sanchez, that he didn't do better with that clearance. And so Gittins is on, hoping that he can provide a little bit of firepower. He's done well assisting goals in this competition this season, Jamie Gittins. 5 assists for Chelsea. Only Reece James has had more. As Chalobah here shepherds the ball back to the goalkeeper Sanchez. Thumbs up from Hoyland. He appreciates the type of pass that was played towards him there, even if it didn't find its intended target. We've almost reached the hour mark. Chelsea in possession, needing 2 goals now. Gittins on the left wing, tries to come in field of Vergara, who makes the tackle. Ball goes out of play for a Chelsea throw.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting now. That back five of Napoli, 2 wing backs who've, for the majority of the first hour, probably been on the front foot attacking more than they've had to really defend. But Gittins really wide, Esteban, Cole Palmer, Reece James is already really high and really wide. You'd expect Chelsea to have a lot more possession of the ball, be quite set up well defensively, balance-wise. So I'm expecting them to see push that back five of Napoli backwards.
Movement on the table. Barcelona, who were trailing 1-0 at home against Copenhagen, have turned that around to lead 2-1 as João Pedro comes in the attack here. Gotcha! Oh, it's a scorching goal! He's well outside the penalty area. He smacks it with his left boot. An equaliser for Chelsea from the very top drawer from João Pedro. It's his 10th goal of the season, and he's taken that beautifully. Napoli 2, Chelsea 2. Liam Rosenior's team are back in business.
Oh, what a goal. What a finish. Had no right to score on his left foot from that distance. And no surprise to see that the move involved Esteban, Cole Palmer linking up. Cole Palmer with a clever little ball into the feet of João Pedro. But he was running towards the channel down one side of it. He flicked it with his right foot and he spun nearly 360 over his right shoulder to just create the space on the edge of the D. And once the space opened, he looked like he was going to pass it. He just had one extra touch to get it out of his feet. Maybe that's what put the defenders and the goalkeeper up. He looked like he was going to pass it, but in that moment changed his mind and hit it superbly well. Just seeing Antonio Conte's face, he can't believe it. Liam Rosenior, hands in the air, he's delighted. Chelsea back level, and this game is very much back on for them.
Right, so the good news for Chelsea is they move back up to 10th place. Still not in the top 8 where they want to be, but this is an important step closer. The bad news for Napoli is that it pushes them down, and at the moment Napoli are going to be eliminated if this game finishes in a draw. Liverpool are banging in the goals at Anfield. Another for Alexis McAllister. They lead Qarabağ by 5-0. At the moment, Newcastle and Chelsea would be going to the knockout phase and facing 2 games in February to stay in the Champions League. They're missing out on a top 8 place as it stands, the pair of them. But Liverpool, Spurs and Manchester City all going through at the moment because of the leads that they hold. Napoli 2, Chelsea 2, with 28 minutes of normal time to play in southern Italy. And possession with Giovanni Di Lorenzo. This is going to be tense. I think this is going to be really entertaining, Leon. Napoli have to go for it now, and Chelsea have to go for it now.
Oh, we should be in for a brilliant last half an hour of the game because of permutation. We've now got Napoli first and forward
with Biongiorno, and his cross falls for Hoyland, who tried to tee himself up for a volley, but it goes away off target. Difficult technique to try and do that, to flick it up on one foot and smack in a shot with the other, and that goes wide to the target, and it's still 2-2.
Well, look, it's only been, I think, 4 minutes, and there's been a goal within that 4 minutes, but I just feel that change has just brought Chelsea a bit better balance. Yes, I think Gittins is going to be asked to be, doing an awful lot of work down that left-hand side. He's going to play like a winger